So both of these problems want us to sketch these graphs, and it's kind of important to know what we're looking at before we're going to graph it. So here we have -6 cosine of theta. So hopefully you know, maybe you don't, but if you're not going to, I'm going to tell you that this thing will graph to a circle. That's going to graph to a circle. Okay, so we can change this polar coordinate into rectangular coordinates if we want to, but there's some things that we should know about the circle. Number one, this negative means that it opens along the negative pole of the x. So the negative x-axis is where we're going to find the graph because it has a negative right there. Okay, the 6 means it has a diameter of 6. Okay, and cosine means it opens along the negative around the x, because cosine with trigonometry always associates with the x coordinate. Okay, so knowing this, it has a radius of, or diameter of 6, so it starts at the pole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the diameter, which means the center is exactly in the middle. And now we have to find a way to go 3 units above and below since it has a radius of 3. Let's make it go here. I don't know. So the circle is going to look as best you can like this-ish. Always looks kind of ovalish on these things, but here's the graph of -6 cosine of theta. The center is at the point -3, 0. It has a radius of 3 and a diameter of 6. And that should be things that you should recognize from this graph. Okay, if it were a sine graph, then it would open along the y-axis. But because it's a cosine graph, it opens along the x-axis. Now this other one over here, -6 sine of 3 theta, is not a circle. We can tell this is not a circle because it has a number in front of the theta. Okay, now they call these roses, so this is a rose graph. So we can talk about how many petals it has. For an odd theta, it has the same number of petals. So this rose will have 3 petals. Okay, which means every petal is going to be 120 degrees apart. Okay, so this is how we know where to put our dots. So the 6 in this case is the radius, or the distance each one of these petals is away from the origin. And the negative part means that we're going to start along the negative y-axis. Okay, because it's sine, that means it's a y-axisly oriented. The pole is the y-axis. Cosine has a x-axis pole. So let's see. Let's plot the first one, which would be at 0, -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's the first point. The first bottom of your petal. It will always go back through the origin. Now we need to go 120 degrees away from that. So let's see, there's 30 and 60 and 90, so 120 is right here. We're going to have another petal along the 30-degree angle. Then another 30, 60, 90, 120. The other petal will be over here along the 150-degree angle. Okay, so we plot these. These are all 6 units away. This is number 5. That's 5 radius. So these are all 6 units away. It opens along the negative y-axis down here. And now we have to make our 3 petals. So we start at the origin, and you make a petal that goes out like this, and then it swoops over like this, and then it swoops over like that, and then it comes back to the origin. So it kind of looks like a propeller of an old-timey airplane from the early days of avionics. But that's how we graph -6 sine of 3 theta. It is a rose with 3 petals that starts on the negative y-axis, and every petal is 120 degrees apart.